Hello and welcome to the finale of The Room 3. In last episode we played through the final chapter of the game, which was the observatory, and now we are back in the main hub world, and the only thing we have left to do is complete the game. The only thing is that this game actually has 4 unique endings, so I'm going to show you how to get all 4 of them in this video with timestamps up on screen now and in the description below for you to see. The 4 endings are the imprisonment ending, the released ending, the escape ending, and the lost ending, and I will be showing all of them at these timestamps. So if you want to find out how to get a particular ending, you can skip to the timestamp on screen now, or if you've been playing along with the walkthrough the entire time and you just want to get them all as I do, then you can stick around for the whole thing, and I'll show you how to get each and every one of the endings. We're going to start with the imprisonment ending, as I'm pretty sure it's the ending they want you to get first. Okay, so to start off with, you want to return to the main the center room, which connects all of these other rooms we've been to, which does mean going down the elevator again, so yep, flip the switch down, the elevator will take us back to the library. Step back into the library by double-clicking to the door, then turn your camera around to the right-hand side and return to the central room. And now we can place our final pyramid on the table right here where the spot is suggesting that we put it. And now our pyramids have formed together into the Craftsman's key. Let's step on through the portal. Okay, first things first, double click on the top of the box right here, place the Craftsman's key in the top of the box. You want to zoom in on this spot right here and take the metal ring that we'll find, then back out twice, zoom in on this tower over here, then rotate the camera around until we see this hole right here. Put the little circle on, and then rotate the handle until it opens up. Put your eyepiece on and zoom into the tower. So you notice that if we push this button here, these 3 things come down, but nothing actually happens. So what we want to do is shift this handle all the way down to the bottom, and then rotate the wheel until the hole is beneath this, then shift it up 1 slot, and then do the same thing until the hole is beneath it, like so. Then shift it up 1 more slot, do the same thing again, and then we can safely push this button to connect them all together. Next up, double click to zoom in right here and then slide this mirror to the left. And if we zoom in down here, we'll find a very small mirror for us to pick up. Let's go ahead and double click in here. Place the small mirror we just collected on this right here, then slide this to the right. Now put on your eyepiece and zoom into the Craftsman's key. Alright, now this is the last piece of the puzzle for the first ending of the game. All we gotta do is push this button once, then push this button twice. Push the left button once, push the right button twice. Push the left button once more, then push the right button 3 times. Well, that door sure looks familiar. Now then, let's just double click on this door and step on through. And this is going to be our first ending of the game. So let's go ahead and read this note. Congratulations, you have found the center of my labyrinth. That may feel like a victory, but it leaves you farther from freedom than you have ever been. If it is any consolation, you were not the first, and you will be far from the last. Know that every single turn led you to this point. As you like puzzles so much, I have one final riddle for you to occupy your eternity. What is the difference between a maze and a labyrinth? But how can I expect you to answer when you cannot tell a room from a prison? Game complete. Congratulations, you have completed the Room 3 for the first time and witnessed the aftermath of your actions. However, there are alternate endings for you to discover. You can now use the Change Your Fate button on the main menu to revisit Grey Home. Only by using the mysterious artifacts hidden by the Craftsman will you earn the power to alter your destiny. So, you can see why I feel like that's the ending they wanted you to discover first, right? For one, it's the first card out of the 4 that you'll find in the bottom here. And for another, you don't really have to do anything special, you just follow the natural course of the game, and that's the ending it takes you to. So, yeah, it's an ending. I'll talk a little bit about the story at the end, but for now, we're just going to stay focused on the gameplay. We're going to hit the continue button, which is going to take us back to the main menu, and now I'm going to just explain, or I guess just show you what the Change Your Fate button does. When you click the Change Your Fate button, you've experienced one of the 4 endings, only because mysterious. Yeah, we already read that. From this point on, there are no more hints available. The tasks remaining are yours to face alone. Hit the continue button, and it takes you back to this room where we have already placed the final pyramid on the center table, and the portal is open. So this is the spot where it all circles back to here. All the endings stem from this point, so in case you were wondering where the Change Your Fate button takes you to, it takes you right here. First things first, you want to turn around and walk through, or double click to go through this doorway right here. Then from here, if you turn around, you will discover a clock behind you. And I'd like to make a note here to say that I'm currently recording this episode at 1:56 p.m. You may notice that the time on the clock is also 1:56 p.m. Now, if we put on our eyepiece, we'll see that the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock hours are highlighted. Why is that, you may ask? Well, you see, every 15 minutes, this clock will unlock. 2 o'clock, 2:15, 2:30, 2:45, 3 o'clock. 3:15, 3:30, 3:45, 4 o'clock. At all of those instances, this will open. It was not a mistake that I chose to start recording this episode only a few minutes before the hour was about to strike, because I did not feel like waiting here for an inordinate amount of time for this to open. But if you happen to record at an unfortunate time, there's not much that I can recommend other than come back before the time is about to strike, because that's literally all you can do. The only thing you can do is just sit here and wait for this stupid clock to unlock. Yes, this is a dumb gameplay mechanic. No, there's no denying that. But what you can do, we're just going to sit here. I'll skip ahead in the video, but I'm just going to sit here and wait for this clock to... By the way, what happens when the time actually gets to these 4 nodes, like every 15 minutes, is a switch reveals, and then, or a switch is revealed, and then we have to flip that switch. So, see you when it turns to 2 o'clock. Alright, the hour's about to turn. We're nearly there, just a few more seconds. And there's the switch. Gee, I hope you enjoyed waiting however long you had to wait for that to appear, by the way. I bet that was real fun. It's totally not a stupid gameplay mechanic. Anyway, back to puzzle solving. So, if we put on an eyepiece, we'll notice that the pendulum is swinging back and forth between the numbers 4, 1, and 2. 4, 1, and 2. This tells us that we need to align these things with those numbers. So this one slides up to the number 4, this one slides all the way down to the number 1, and this one slides to number 2. Once you do that, the face of the clock is going to open up, and we can take a crystal from inside. Now that we've done that, we're going to back out and go back to the main room. Then turn to the right and step through to the library. Then go through the door directly in front of you so that it'll take you up to the second floor. Then zoom in on this right here, grab onto the lower left hand corner of this, and we can lift it up to close the book and take a metal object from the outside cover. Then we're going to go ahead and back out down to the lower level of the library. Then turn our attention to the right hand side and step into this elevator. Flip the switch to take us up. Then step into the tower. Then we're going to go around to the other side of this tower where we're going to find a little control panel over here with a ball which we can roll up and down. So if we look to the left, zoom in right here, the goal here is to knock down that safe using this pendulum. So yes, we have to move this controllable ball up and down to give it a little bit of momentum. Up and down, up and down, and just keep doing that in motion with the pendulum to give it as much momentum as possible. Keep swinging it back and forth and back and forth until eventually it gets enough momentum to knock over the safe right over there. Almost there. Just a little bit more momentum. And nearly there. There we go. Now that we've done that, we can go back all the way down to the center room. I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch me go all the way down there again. Once you return to the center room, we're going to zoom in on the safe we knocked over, and we're going to pick up this note right here which says, August 11th, I woke up on the floor of the workshop again. A new box was on the table, and I recall nothing of making it. Did I create any of them, or only dream these creations? What is beyond doubt is that there is something guiding my hand. Who pulls the strings of the puppet master? Now then, take the crystal, back out, and then head on through... Nope, not that door. Nope, that's the door we went in through. I'm pretty sure I only clicked on this door once. I did not intend to go through here. Okay, well, the door we wanted to go through is the door that's over here to the left. So let's turn our camera to the left, go through this door. Now let's head into this room, and if we zoom in on this table over here on the left-hand side, I said zoom in on the table on the left-hand side, and then we zoom in, focus right here, place this object like so, then place the other crystals into this wheel right here, then just rotate this handle around. Now put on the eyepiece. Look around, and we're going to push this right button right here until eventually it turns into this sphere. Then we can push this button to send it back out. Then we'll go ahead and pick it up. Now it's time for everybody's favorite thing from the last episode. Virtual mazes. Yay. Alright, first push the top button to move forward, and then keep moving forward until eventually you hit a wall, which means you're going to be pushing this top button a lot of times. Just keep it coming. That wall's so close. Just keep going. I'm just spamming left mouse button. And we finally arrived at a wall, so push the left button to turn to the left. Once again, we gotta keep on going straight until we hit a wall. Fortunately, this wall's gonna be a lot closer than the last one. Hello, wall, how you doing today? Turn to the left. Once again, move forward. We're gonna hit a wall much sooner this time. This time we're gonna turn right. Now we're going to keep going until we arrive between these two pillars, which would be right now. Now we're gonna turn left, move forward towards this pillar. And then we're going to take this mysterious artifact, which we find right here. Now, we have everything we need to go back to the main room and step through the portal. Now, while I find it very unlikely that you are going after this ending before already achieving the Imprisoned Ending, I am aware that it is a possibility. So, I'm going to be essentially saying the same thing that I already said in the first part where I went through the Imprisoned Ending, because, well, first we'll go through the portal and then I'll explain what I have to say, because the next part of this, of getting this ending, is the exact same as it was getting the Imprisonment Ending. We just have to do all the steps that we went through to get that first Imprisonment Ending, and then we're going to do something slightly different at the very end. So, assuming that you have no idea what you have to do here, I will be repeating the steps that I told you about in that ending, just probably a little bit more brief. Anyway, so what we want to do here is head to the top, put the Craftsman's key in, like so. Then double click to zoom in right here and take this metal ring. Then back out to move over to the tower on the left hand side. Zoom in right here, put the metal ring around it, then use the handle to turn it around and open it up. Then once it's open, you can use your eyepiece to zoom inside. Now, you'll notice that if we push this button, these three things are going to try to stick here, but nothing's going to happen. So we got to fix that. First, pull this lever all the way down, and then rotate this until this hole lines up with this. Then move this one step forward, rotate it again to get the hole to line up like so. One more time, move it up one step forward, and then do it once again to get the hole to line up. Then once all three holes are in line, push the button, they'll sink in. Now we're going to double click in here, slide this mirror to the left. And double click to zoom in down here and take a smaller mirror, then go up here, double click to zoom in here, put that smaller mirror like so, then double click to zoom in on the bigger mirror to slide it to the right to get it out of the way. And simply put on the eyepiece and zoom in to the Craftsman's key like so. Alright, now once you make it here, you want to push this left button once, then push the right button twice, push the left button again, push the left button 2 more times, push the left button 1 more time, and then push the right button 3 times, and then you're good. Now, as I said in the little text blurb earlier, do not go through the portal. If you go through this portal, it will take you to the imprisonment ending. You do not want that. You instead want to double click on this little pillar right here, and then place this artifact on top. And just zoom in a little bit closer, rotate this around to open it, put it on the eyepiece, and then zoom inside. Now this one's very similar to the other crystal puzzle, but it's a little more complicated because these have multiple directions in which we can turn things. So first off, you want to hit the leftmost left switch, Then you want to hit all the way to the right 3 times. That's once, that's twice, that's 3 times. Hit all the way to the left 3 times in a row. That's 1, 2, 3. All the way to the right. Then hit all the way to the left. And then hold all the way to the right twice. Then move to the left. All the way to the right twice. Move to the left. This time you want to hit the right switch except the left bit of it. So that's once, that's twice. Then move it to the left once more. Hit the right switch twice. And there you go. They're all shining towards the center. Now all I gotta do is just push this button right here. And now the portal has shifted to a different location. So now you are free to move through this portal and get your released ending. I don't know if this letter will reach you. I only knew the warder will take my bribe. You must come at once. When we opened the gateway, something was waiting. It had always been waiting. Now, it is here. Soon we are doomed. I know you have no reason to trust me, but you must. You are the only one who can help. You are the only one who knows. You are the only one who will believe me. I am in Bethlehem. Find me. Alright, game complete. If you have not yet completed the released ending and you have just jumped straight to the escaped ending timestamp, please go back and watch that because it's going to make getting the escaped ending a lot easier. First things first, we are going to want to turn to the right and go through this doorway to enter the library. Then head over to this booth right here. Double click down to pull out the place token here handle, and then we're going to collect the small mechanism which we will find right here. Then we're going to back out twice, turn the camera around, go back to the main room. Then turn to the left and go into this room over here on the left. Now turn your attention over to the desk and zoom in right here. Then click on the small mechanism which we just found, and we're going to slide this all the way around to the other side, like so, so we can turn this into a key. Then back out, use the key on the desk drawer, open it up by giving it a little bit of a turn. It appears there's nothing in here, but if we look on the side, we'll find a little switch here which we can slide all the way to the left, and then we can find a handle inside the drawer. Now we're going to back out, zoom in on the left side of this desk, and use the handle right here to open this up. Pull it out, and we're going to read the note right here. Maggie Cox was a charlatan, and there is no such thing as a spirit medium. Ace Attorney would say otherwise. Everything she believed was a lie. I know this for a fact. I concocted the lies. How is it then that she alone can resist me? If she will not rest in the prison I have built her, I shall build one deeper still. Now then, turn the camera around so that we can flip this switch right over here. Then we can rotate this around to reveal a switch on the bottom side. We're going to go ahead and slide that to the left. And if we open this drawer, we're going to see a little puzzle waiting for us down here, in addition to a note that we can find here. The house is turning in on itself, warped by the Null. I find myself forever traveling in circles down corridors that turn back on themselves. I use the doorway machines to bypass the maze, but the crystals run low on energy. I must find a new power source soon, or be trapped forever. I said that backwards, but still, it still means the same thing. Anyways, go ahead and back out and look down here, because we have a puzzle to solve. First things first, we're going to slide this all the way to the right. I said slide it all the way to the right, and then shift this button up to the top, and slide this to the left, and shift this button down to the bottom. Then we're going to shift this all the way to the right. We can slide this up. And now we can rotate this so that it reveals a little hole on either side of the center. So that it opens up, we can get a token. Now we're going to take this token all the way back to the library, so let's go retrace our steps over there. Turn to the right and enter the library. Zoom in on this booth just like we did before, then zoom in down here, place the token inside, slide it shut. Totally not creepy at all, right? Anyway, let's go ahead and take the crank wheel that we're going to get from this drawer. He deceives you. Yes? Yes, he does. We discovered that earlier today. Anyway, now what we're going to do is return back to the center room, and we're actually going to go through the door straight ahead and return to the room that we've started off the game. Well, not start off. We started off the game in the train. But the first room that we were in before we entered the main area over there. And then we're going to zoom in right here and use our crank wheel on this. And then you're going to go ahead and give it a turn. Then step on through and descend into the basement. Alright, so the first thing that you catch your interest is going to be this over here. There's going to be 3 handles right here. And when we pull the first one down, we're going to find a math problem waiting for us. The idea here, in case you can't tell, is we have to find the numbers that are going to add up to reach the top number. In that case, this is going to be 8. So let's flick this to the right. Plus 4, this is already in the right position. Plus 5 equals 17. Then we can back out and flip down this handle to reveal another math problem. This time, we're going to find out which of these multiply and add together to reach the top number. So this is going to be, because we all know the order of operations, 7 times 4 plus 3 equals 31. So now let's go ahead and back out and flip down this third handle, like so. And now for this last one, this is the most complicated one of them all. It's going to be 2 times 5 plus 4 plus 12 minus 5 plus 9 equals 30. That's all 3 problems solved. So now, this one's very, very easy. You just have to slide all of these to align up with the illuminated lights. And now we've turned on the word library. So, let's head back to the library and see if anything interesting has happened. In case you forgot, the library door is directly ahead of the door you just came from. Now when we enter the library, you may notice that a phone is ringing all of a sudden. So let's go ahead and turn around to the left-hand side and answer the phone. That's not creepy at all. Alright, let's go ahead and take the cross-shaped key right here, and now we're going to go all the way back to the basement, which, as we recall, is the door that is directly across from the library. So just go straight across, and they'll take you right back to the basement. Like so. When you make it back down here, we are going to want to turn our attention to the left-hand side this time, and I'm going to place this in here. Pay very close attention to the drawers when I do that. Let's put this in here. Give it a turn. Watch the drawers. So the drawers lit up in a very specific order. That would be this one, this one, this one, and this one. You have to open the drawers in that exact order. And in the last drawer, we're going to find a token. So, let's go take this token back to the library. Just like before, it's the door directly across from the basement. You should know how to get there by now. We've been back and forth quite a few times at this point. It's just the door straight across. Zoom in over here at the booth. Then zoom in down here, place the token, oh, need to pull it out first, place the token here, push it in. Then just take the crank handle from the drawer. Now from here what you want to do is head up to the second floor. Then zoom in right here and place the metal ball that you have from completing the release ending. This is why I told you to get the released ending before the escaped ending, even though the game lists them in the reverse order. Place this right here. Then close the magazine just like that. Put on your eyepiece, and then you can zoom on through the curtain. Push the button on this gramophone right here. Then we're going to take the blank wax cylinder from right there, then back out again, turn the camera around, and head back down to the first floor of the library. Then zoom into the gramophone over here and place the blank wax cylinder. I did it again. Blank wax cylinder right here. Now, pay attention to the number that you're going to find right here, which is 1795. It's going to be important later. Now then, and by later I mean that's the next thing we're going to do. So head back to the center room. Go through this doorway on the right-hand side. Step into this room right here, and we are going to find another gramophone in here. Just we got to turn the camera around, zoom in over here, and this is where that number comes in handy. So what we want to do is zoom in right here. Now dial 1795. Now zoom in here, you want to crank the handle to start the music playing. The music's already playing here, so I didn't need to do that, but you need to crank that to start the music playing. Then quickly head back to the library. You should know how to get there at this point. We've been back and forth between these rooms a million times. Step through the library door to the left-hand side. When you get here, you hear that the phone is ringing yet again, so let's go ahead and turn the camera to the left, zoom in right here to answer the phone call. I'll go take the etched wax cylinder as a result from doing all that. Now we're going to head up to the second floor of the library, put on the eyepiece, and zoom in through the curtain. Now put the etched wax cylinder right up here, and then push the button. Well, that was a cinematic. Let's read a note. A breakthrough. The portal remains stable, but only to look through. Touching the thing causes the image to fade. I need more power if I am to pass physically to the other side. The landscape is beyond extraordinary. Now then, let's take this token, back out, go back down to the first floor of the library, turn the camera to the left, zoom in right here, and place the token in its slot. Go ahead and take the metal device. Then turn the camera around. Nope, don't zoom in closer. Back out. Turn the camera around. Step into the elevator. Look to the right. Send the elevator up. Now double click here to enter the tower. Zoom in right here and insert the metal device as such. Now put on the eyepiece to look through it. The idea here is to align your vision so that you can see the key right here. So we're going to rotate this around like so to get the key to perfectly line up, and then just readjust our camera slightly so that it forms a completed whole. Now we can take an actual key right here, then back out, head back down the elevator, flip the switch down, step out into the library, return to the main room, enter this door on the right. Then once you get here, we're going to zoom in on this loose brick in the wall, pull out the brick, put on our eyepiece so that we can, I said put on our eyepiece so we can zoom in through this hole. Then we're going to zoom in on this spot right here, and the idea here is to rotate all these pieces so that we can see the light shining above us, like so. Now, be prepared for a whole lot of tedium, because this is a lot of not fun things we're about to do here. Okay, so we want to back out of the hole, back out again, go into this room, rotate our camera around, then zoom in here, put the key in, rotate it, then go back into the other room, wait for the camera to finish doing its thing, rotate around, put on the eyepiece, go back in the hole, yep, we're going back in the hole, then zoom in right here, rotate this to line up, then back out of the mini hole. I said back out of the mini hole. Game will respond to my inputs. Back out again. Go into the other room. Turn the camera around. Zoom back into the key. Turn it around again. Go back into the other room. Put on the eyepiece. Then go back into the hole again. And zoom in right here. Rotate this yet again. Then back out of the hole again if the game will respond to my inputs, which it's having a very hard time doing. That's a lot of times to just hit the right mouse button there, game. Back out, go into this room. Turn the camera around for what feels like the 8 millionth time. Zoom in right here. Open this drawer. Take the token you'll find inside. And then go back to the library once again. At this point, there's no way you need to be told how to get back there. It's probably burned into your brain. But just in case, head through the door on the left to get back to the library. Then zoom in over here to the fortune teller. Zoom in down here. Place the token where it belongs. Push it in. And now, at long last, we can finally take a mysterious artifact, say goodbye to the fortune teller, and go back to the main room. Now, while it is highly unlikely that you are going after this ending before already achieving the imprisoned ending, I will still be explaining to you what the steps you need to take in order to get to a certain point. The point you need to get to is right before you go through the train portal. Do not go through that portal. If you already know how to do what I'm about to do, which is complete the steps of the imprisoned ending, do not go through that portal. Stop when the train door appears. If you know how to do it, skip to this timestamp, and then just don't go through the portal, and I'll tell you how to get the escape ending. If you, for some reason, don't know how to complete the Imprisoned Ending, or you just want a fresh reminder, then stay tuned, because I'm going to head through the portal and show you exactly what you need to do. Okay, first things first, zoom in on the top of this box, put the Craftsman's key up top. Zoom in down here and take the metal ring that you'll find, back out, and then zoom in on the tower on the left. Turn the camera around, place the metal ring right here, then turn it to open it up, put on the eyepiece and zoom in through the hole. Now in here, if we push this button, you will see that these three things are just going to try to stick, but they're not going to. So how do we get them to stick? Well, first things first, we got to pull this handle all the way down, and then rotate the wheel so that the hole right here lines up with this. Move it up one, do the same thing. We want all the holes to line up with these things on the right-hand side. There's hole number 2. Move it up one more time. Hole number 3 is on its way, and then once they're all in a line, we can push this button to lower them all down. Now we want to zoom in on this mirror right here and slide it to the left. Then zoom in on this little thing down here to grab a smaller mirror, place it on this right here. I said place it on this right here. Then back out, zoom in on the bigger mirror, and slide it out of the way by moving it to the right. Then put on the eyepiece and enter the Craftsman's key. Now push these buttons in this order. Push the left button once, push the right button twice, push the left button once, push the right button twice, push the left button once, then push the right button 3 times to shine all the light beams towards the center crystal. If you go through that portal, you will get the Imprisoned Ending. And we're not going for the Imprisoned Ending, we're going for the Escaped Ending. So what you want to do is zoom in over here and place the artifact which we collected on this pedestal on the left-hand side. And zoom in right here and rotate this ring around in order to open it up. Put on the eyepiece, zoom in through the hole. Now the idea here is that these things on the side are essentially as if the crystal in the center is charging up. So what we want to do is rotate this around and follow the light beam, because you'll see it's shining to the left. Follow it around to charge up the crystal. Then push this button up on top. And at long last, we can double click over here to step through the portal and get the escape ending. Oh my god, that took forever. So, I must have poured over 1,000 maps. Greyholm isn't just gone, it never existed. I sometimes doubt my sanity, and others are starting to agree with me. This quest can only land me in an asylum. No matter, I find curiosity has lessened its grip on me, and life's other interests are returning. Whatever it was that drew me is gone. I can sense it no longer, and I finally feel free. Was there ever a source of the Null, or was it always just bait in the trap? I know now that I will never know, and that knowledge is a sweet, sweet joy. Now here's my question. That cutscene was the exact same as the released cutscene. So, riddle me this, Batman. Why did we need 2 separate endings with that exact same cutscene? Anyway, in case you're wondering why I completed this ending third, even though it's listed second here, as I explained at the beginning of the section, I wanted to do this. I wanted to make sure you do the release ending before this, so that you don't have to go through the process of getting the metal object again. Anyway, only one more ending to go. This last ending can only be completed once you've achieved the other 3 endings: the imprisoned ending, the released ending, and the escaped ending. Once you have completed all 3 of those endings and you have both of these artifacts from the previous endings, you can step through the portal one final time and complete the steps for the imprisoned ending one final time. And if by some chance you don't remember how to complete the imprisoned ending, I'll be more than happy to provide those steps for you yet again. So, let's do that. Zooming up at the top, drag the Craftsman's key into its slot. Zoom in down here and take the metal ring, then back out, zoom into the tower on the left, swing it around, place the ring like so, spin it to open it, put on the eyepiece, and then zoom in through the hole. Shift this down like so, then rotate it to align all the holes with the right hand side, so that we can, when we push the button, they will all go right into their respective places. Shift up once again. And now we can safely push the button, like so. Now zoom in right here, shift this mirror over to the left. Then zoom in down here and pick up a smaller mirror, which we can then place on this back thing here. I said place it here. Then zoom in on the bigger mirror and slide it to the right to get it out of the way. Then put on the eyepiece so we can zoom into the Craftsman's key. Push the left button once, push the right button twice. Push the left button once, push the right button twice. Push the left button once, and then push the right button 3 more times. And then you're done. As per the usual, do not go through that portal. You will get the imprisoned ending, and you do not want the imprisoned ending. But what you do want to do is zoom in on this right hand pedestal over here, and then drag the first artifact in its place. Then simply zoom in to rotate this to open it up, and then put on your eyepiece to zoom inside. Push the leftmost button once. Push the rightmost button 3 times. Push the leftmost button once. Push the leftmost button twice more. Then push the rightmost button once. Push the leftmost button once. The rightmost button 2 times. push the leftmost button once, and the rightmost button 2 times. Push the leftmost button once, this time hit the right-left button twice. And hit the left button, or leftmost button again, and then the rightmost button 2 more times, and that will solve the blue crystal puzzle. Now push the button. Now, head over to the leftmost pedestal, place the other artifact on top. Zoom in to open it up, put on your lens, zoom inside. Now we have to rotate this around so that the light beam will stay inside the receptor so that it can charge it up. Then push the button. Now something you may have noticed that happened when I pushed this button is that both the green and blue lights cannot be shining at the same time. So how do we fix this? Double click to zoom into this over here, then unscrew this right here. Shift to the side, and now we can have all 3 lenses shining at the door at the exact same time. Which means now, if we double click on this new portal and step through, you will have completed, you will have achieved your final ending and completed this game. Finally. 100% complete. Congratulations, you have discovered all the secrets within the walls of Grey Olm and have finally seen all the endings to the Room 3. Finally, indeed. Your dedication in this matter has been most impressive. Fireproof Games salutes you because they know the turmoil that you just spent 5 hours of your life going through. Okay. Well, now it's finally time to actually talk about this game. In case you can't tell, I really hate this game. Well, I guess maybe that's not fair. I hate the actual the idea of getting multiple endings in a room game is a nice concept, but the execution was abysmal. And it can all be boiled down to one thing: scale. They increased the scale for this game way too much. Like, the room started off with a very simple premise. Puzzle box, in room, unlock puzzle box. Great. That's a very great concept for a puzzle game. Let's do it. The room 2 is like, okay, so what if we did that, but we had multiple tables around the room for you to interact with, but it was all still within the same room. And then doing that, it allowed you to show a variety of new locations. And it's like, yes, this is good. It's harder, but it's still good. You're doing a good thing here. Then the room 3 came out and they're like, oh, you liked that we increased the scale. Well, wait till you see what we can do now. And they made it so it's that the freaking, like, okay, so the increased scale within the actual puzzles wasn't too bad. Like, the lighthouse and the clock tower, they weren't all that bad. Even the workshop was fine. Maybe a little too much, but still, overall, those levels were mostly alright. The observatory, on the other hand, who came up with the idea for the maze? That stupid maze gimmick was just horrendous. I don't know who thought that would be a good idea, but good God, it was awful. So that's, like, for the most part, then the puzzles themselves wasn't too bad, but everything about getting those last few endings is just terrible. It's like, the amount of time you have to spend going back and forth between certain locations. You have to essentially have the entire map of this place committed to memory to solve it. Like, this took me over an hour to maybe it probably took me an hour and a half, let's be honest here, to record this episode. And I knew the solutions. I've already beaten this game. It took me months to beat this damn game, because not because I couldn't figure out what to do, because I didn't know every single thing that was in this Grey Home, so I had to just like keep going back and forth, say, okay, so what's here that I can use? What's here that I can use? And it was just a constant cycle of traveling between rooms. It's not a thing where it's like, okay, I have all the information, now how can I use the information to solve the puzzle? It's, no, I don't know the information, I have to keep going back and forth between all the rooms to figure it all out. It's just, and they clearly, like, I can't give them too much flack, because they clearly realized that they messed up, because the room Old Sins was a step in the right direction, that it was relegated, okay, one dollhouse, great, let's solve puzzles about the dollhouse. Step in the right direction, good. And then the room VR is like, alright, let's increase the scale a little bit. The room VR was the most similar to the room 2, in that it's one area for you to explore, I mean, different divisions between the area. Like, the room VR is this game done well, is what I would say, because there are a lot of different locations within the actual room itself. But for one, you can teleport, so the time spent transporting between locations is instantaneous. For another, a lot of it's self-contained. There isn't a whole lot of, like, go here, 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 and go all over the place to do a lot of things. So, for the most part, the Room VR handled this game's concept much better than this game did. But they learned from their mistakes, I guess, which is nice. But, just, I really wish that was handled better, because there's just... And, like, the thing is, it's not even because they didn't give hints, right? Because I was able to beat most of this game on my first try without using any hints. But something, just anything. There was no direction for anything. You would have to search every square inch to find even a trace of what you had to do. And did I mention, by the way, forgot about this one, that one of the puzzles you have to solve by waiting for a specific time? Like, whose idea was that? What idiot came up with that? I want to know, because that's just like, yeah, let's make the player sit at home for an unknown amount of time. Great. I just, like, imagine you turn on this game at 12:01 and you get to the clock and it's like, and yeah, it's only a 15-minute wait, but still, to make the player wait in any amount of time for that is just insane. And then there's the story. I started talking about the story. I mean, it should have ended with Room 2. Like, there's a reason that the Room Old Sins and the Room VR have taken different protagonists. Because, it's like, first room, so, you've been called here to solve this puzzle box. Solve it. You did it. Now you are stuck somewhere and you have to figure out how to get home. So you work your way home, you learn more about the null element along the way, and then once you finally get home, the house where you've originally started your adventure has been destroyed, so there's no more. You've moved on, you've survived, you've completed your adventure, done. And now, the Room Old Sins and the Room VR have taken the concept of the Null and explored it in a lot of new ways without rehashing that same character storyline. This game's like, hey, what if we didn't do that, and instead continue the story of that guy? And it's like, but why did you do that? Because there's no point. It just feels so unnecessary. And the whole... Yeah, I know there's a difference between the release and escape ending because the stupid tentacles are in the sky or whatever, but what changes that makes that just... And the lost ending, nothing in this game ever came up again. I thought maybe that they would show what happens in the lost ending, like, in some degree in the future games, but no, they clearly acknowledge that this game's story just doesn't mean anything, so I just... And yeah, the Craftsman shows up in the Room VR, but he was actually a good character there. I don't know, it's... I would be fine with a weak story if the gameplay was good, and for the most part, it's fine. Like, what I would say is that if you're a big fan of the Room and you want to get this game, I would say, okay, buy it, and stop when you get the Imprisoned Ending. Do not go any further. You'll want to rip your hair out, or jump out a window, or do something. You're not going to want to keep playing. It's just... Don't do what I did, even though you may have just watched this whole video through. I really don't recommend you do it. It's not fun. It's there if you want the 100% completion, which of course I did, which is why it took me so freaking long to do it. But it's done. I finally have a walkthrough, 100% walkthrough of all 3 Room games on my channel, and if the Room Old Sins ever comes out, I'll definitely make a walkthrough of that. Or if it ever comes out on PC, I should say, I'll definitely make a walkthrough of that. But for now, that's it for this episode. Hopefully you were able to find these walkthroughs helpful in some way. But that's all I got, so thanks for watching. See you for the next up to catch you all next week for whatever walkthrough is next. Goodbye.